Hello again, I'm here with Chris Peterson, our winemaker, to talk about our newest release. And Chris and I were just talking about how we're really excited about these wines, but also hopeful that this is the last time that we have to taste these through video, and that next time we will be able to enjoy them with you in person.
Absolutely. I think this is spring we're all looking forward to more than usual, but these wines are a great way to introduce spring.
Yeah, absolutely. And first off, we're going to drink this rosé. So this is the very first wine from the 2020 vintage that we're releasing onto the world. We have our 2020 Légerie Rosé. Just a beautiful wine. This is made from Grenache and Mourvèdre. And Chris, just tell me a little bit about this wine and about the 2020 vintage.
Yeah, 2020, well, as in most other ways, there were some challenges along the way, but the rosé and, the whites that were picked early in the season really showed really nice. We have lower yields this year. We had great sunlight, good warmth throughout the summer, but still kind of retain this great acidity. This is again all from Grenache and Mourvèdre, from various different sources that I get, and kind of just make this clean, dry Provençal style rosé that we like drinking.
Totally. I mean, it even looks like Provençal. That's just such a beautiful, salmon pink color. And then all kinds of fruit and herbs, and it's kind of like a mineral note to the wine.
Yeah, I love how those minerals and herbs come out. Kind of makes it a little more complex than just drinking fruit juice. It's wine here.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know how many cases we made this year?
Not very many, just about 130 cases. So
oh boy.
It's going to go a little faster this year for sure.
Always in demand. It sells out quick, so definitely get your hands on it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Delicious.
So next we have our 2019 Oliane Sauvignon Blanc. So every year this is a blend of two different vineyards. So we were talking about Boucher Vineyard Sauvignon Blanc and Red Willow Sauvignon Blanc. But still 100% of that grape.
Yes.
And this is our 2019, so going back a vintage into 2019. Tell me a little bit about that year here in Washington.
Yeah, 2019 was a little bit cooler. There was a cooling trend definitely as harvest started, which pushed back ripening, but also kept the acidity levels high. The resulting white wines especially just have this great freshness, still a lot of concentration. I just think they're showing really nicely. And from the first few years we made this wine, we'd release it just a few months after we bottled it. It tastes great at the release and everything, but I noticed just with 8 to 12 months of bottle age how it really opens up.
Yeah.
And brings out that minerally side, and I think that's what we're starting to get here.
And you're aging this on the lees too, right? And that gives it a little different character than a lot of other soft blondes, where you have a little more richness and roundness, which especially in a cooler vintage is kind of neat because there's plenty of acidity and freshness, but there is a really nice balance there.
Yeah, it can really help the wines pair with different foods.
Oh yeah, this is richer. This is my favorite wine to pair with foods. I mean, because it goes with so many different things. We
just did chicken with lemon slices and green olives and capers and that kind of thing. But still with some rich olive oil type sauce and that kind of thing, chicken stock, and it hangs with something like that where a stainless steel Sauvignon Blanc would kind of get overwhelmed by those textures.
Right. And real quick too, just tell me a little bit about the difference between the Boucher Sauvignon Blanc and then the Red Willow Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Even though Boucher is technically a cooler site, it always tends to be picked a little sooner, a little riper, and so it has a lot more, kind of bigger fruits, maybe more stone fruits. In addition to citrus, there's always this peach element and kind of this richness. But the Red Willow, for whatever reason, it brings more of that mineral element. It has more acidity and less alcohol level generally than the Boucher. So they make this great balance where you get that richness, but really that acidity is always going to come through. And we have to do nothing to manipulate this wine. It just goes in. It's fermented in a blend of neutral French oak, but also about 20% in concrete egg, big concrete egg. Cool. And I think that lends to the texture too. So one of my favorite renditions of this.
This is delicious. I always think Oleand is kind of like drinking sunshine. It's just like a burst of energy.
Yeah, and there's definitely some minerality here, kind of oyster shell kind of.
Awesome.
That I always enjoy, and I think makes it unique that from Sauvignon Blanc I've had in the state. Yeah.
Cool. Well, cheers. This is great. We got one more wine to do. Let's do it. So a relatively new addition to the Avennia family. This is the 2019 Perle. This is the third vintage of this wine now. And this is our take on a Northern Rhône white wine, I guess, being a blend of Roussanne and Marsanne.
Yeah, this is a wine that, this is the third year, and it's just like we've really amped up the winemaking every year to really show what this wine can do. So what we've started doing, you know, we started in the second vintage in 2018 and liked it so much, is that half of the wine, it's all aged for 14 months, but after 7 months, we put half of the wine from barrel into a concrete egg, where it spends the next few months until February when we bottled it, so another 7 months. So it's 14 months raised, but some of it in part concrete. And what it does is it helps slow down the aging so that the wine kind of retains more focus and freshness, even though it's spending, you know, a little bit longer, twice as long in barrel as the Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah, and
but
this sees a little
grapes can do that,
right? And this sees a little new French oak as well.
It's about 30% new.
30%. It's amazing though, because even when you smell it, it doesn't taste like it's oaky, like that oaky. It's more like kissed by oak. And I think you're right. Putting it in concrete helps kind of delay that oakiness that can get into a lot of whites at that level.
Yeah, and we can choose exactly which of those barrels got taken out of the oak. So the new oak barrels that spent all 14 months, where you could really get a lot of oak character, those are specially chosen barrels that really impart that oak more smoothly and more gently over time. So after 14 months, they're still, but you taste that single barrel and it's not overly oaked, and it's like honeyed and really rich. And it's a great counterpoint to the other parts that can still bring that acidity.
Right.
Because these wines can tend to get flabby and overripe, and what I like about, you know, the Washington vineyards and when we pick the grapes, we
I think that's important too. I've had Roussanne and Marsanne before that, you're right, can get really overripe and get really, you know, flabby and just big and round. And this wine has always retained a lot of acidity. And like you said, you do pick kind of on the earlier side, maybe compared to some other growers working with, or winemakers working with these grapes. And it definitely shows, because you have the benefit of the richness in a lot of those, you know, stone fruit, these even like kind of a tropical, you know, but like a nuttiness, a waxiness. But then you also have these really high toned, there's even like a little orange citrus, like orange oily kind of thing.
That's what I noticed too.
And then that honeysuckle, like a little floral kind of thing.
Yeah, really complex on the nose. It's Roussanne from 2 different vineyards. It's Marsanne from Boucher vineyard, of course. Just been really a fun wine. You know, it's a specialty wine. Not many people in the state make it. So, you know, we're excited to be one of the few and really do our best to bring really to raise the level of it every year.
Yeah. Well, this is just stellar. I think this lineup's going to be awesome. We hope that you guys have a chance to purchase all of them. Again, May 1st is going to be our release this time around. We're doing another socially distanced release this time.
One more.
Hopefully we'll be all good come fall. But thanks for tasting these. I'm super excited. This is going to be a really, really great release.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll see you at the winery real soon.
Yeah,
we know.
very soon.
All right.
Thanks. Cheers.
Cheers.